Okay, just to recap, we were on our second video here. We were talking about filaments. We were talking about sizes, types. Where can I get it? And I think I brought you to Octave. I know I brought you. No, it's not Octave. Where's Octave? Did I lose it already? All right. Yeah. Oh, it's right over here. All right. So there's Octave. We're talking about filaments. We started from the Series High School 3D Printing Academy class, Series High School, and I had this link right here. We were talking here about this website, which is really great. It was talking about ABS versus PLA, but it has some really other cool stuff, and I think that's where I want to start. So what we were trying to get through was colors and exotics. Colors is pretty. I mean, you think of any color you want. I mean, if you scroll through here, I'm back on Octave, and just about any color that you see, you can get. So here, this is the Z Ultra. This is for the Zortrax, mostly for the Zortrax. They have some really great stuff at G Glass, Hips. The one that I use most often is ABS Filament. It's Octave brand, and I'll be honest with you. I mean, they get just most any color that you want. So scroll through these if you want, and you can find like, most any of the color. I mean, not rainbow, but hit pretty much of the primary colors. You're pretty good. And if you can't find it here, I'm sure you give Roy over at Octave a call, and they can help you find some colors too. But so colors wise, I mean, if we look at colors, they got a lot of different colors. But I really want to focus on these exotics, and these are not the non-ABS we were talking about last time. ABS and PLA is mostly used in the classroom. And I want to talk about the exotic stuff. So this is Octave. They do have some other really interesting things here. So you go back in here, and they have the PETG glass hips. Here's some of their specialty stuff. Look at Affinia has some specialty filaments too. And look at that wood, copper, aluminum. So let's talk about that real quick. So I'm going to go back to my Google Classroom. No, that's not Google Classroom. No, that's not Google. There it is. Google Classroom. And let's go back to Nick's website. And you scroll down and we talked about ABS, and what ABS was, a petroleum-based plastic, 240 degrees approximately, right? A good strong plastic, warps a little bit. And then PLA down here, which is a lower temperature, 190 to 205 degrees. Sugar derivative polylactic acid. I'm trying to talk too fast. And those are all really good. But some of the really cool stuff, when we talk exotic plastics, exotic filaments, right? So they have a glow in the dark. And I've seen a lot of green glow in the dark, or blue glow in the dark, or clear glow in the dark. This is usually a PLA. So based off the ABS PLA, PLA is a polylactic acid, and then it has some glow in it. So you can get those polychromatic. So this is interesting too. So polychromatic PLA, you take them outside and they change color, glowing from the sun. I like this. We usually have a lot of, we call it galaxy blue, but it sparkles inside of it. The kids like a lot of that. So they call it sparkly. They also have Octave ABS, galaxy blue, that has sparkles in it. It's kind of fun. Some of the other specialty ABS stuff, temperature sensitive. That's pretty cool. That's ABS. So up here was pretty much PLA and ABS. Here's some more PLA blends. This is the really, really cool stuff. I like this. So we were talking earlier about PLA and PHA. And PHA has this big old long name. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. Polyhydro something, 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 right? And it's 100% biodegradable. Very interesting stuff. So if you're kind of a green and clean kind of program, hey, this is for you. PLA and wood. So you're talking about plastic and then small fibers of wood. And when it prints, it actually smells like wood coming out. So it's actually really, really cool. So I've used that in the classroom with PLA. It works, but it's kind of brittle. You got to be really careful. It breaks kind of like wood breaks. Here's some cherry wood, a little bit darker than some of the other sawdust type wood up above. Coconut wood, that's pretty amazing. And they have bamboo, so look at the bamboo. Oh, that's cool. Check that out. So it has 20% bamboo fiber. So when we're talking about exotic stuff, this is the exotic stuff I'm talking about. How about brick? So this has chalk fragments in the PLA mixed in. So it's almost like a stone consistency. And you got to be careful with this though. As you're extruding, you're pushing it through a brass extruder nozzle, and some of this might be tearing up your nozzle a little bit. So just be careful with it. How about some metal stuff? So this is bronze, PLA and bronze. And then how about copper? So PLA and copper. This is pretty cool. PLA and brass. I've used the aluminum, not the brass, but that looks pretty wow. That's amazing. I think I'll print a few of those, give them to the kids. Stainless steel. Wow, that's incredible. Look at it. So stainless. We're talking about the exotic stuff. Iron. So there's some iron stuff. I've used aluminum before. So that's the metals, the woods, etc. So here's some really other cool stuff. Smart ABS. So this bends back to where it was. Bendable plastics or flexi plastics. This is pretty cool stuff. ABS. So again, we're going back to the ABS and PLA, and they're additives that go into these. We talked a little bit about PET before, but it's a higher strength. So if you want something that's strong and going to hold, you're talking about PET, polyethylene terephthalate. I bet that's how it looks like it's called. So there's PET and PET G stuff. There's PET T. So that's a copolymer. Uh, it's also called Tallman. I've seen a lot of Tallman tea glaze. So that's some really interesting stuff, transparent. PET G, so the poly blah. Again, I'm not going to look at that. Look, you need to have a chemistry PhD to pronounce that. But it's called a PET copolymer, and it has the strength of ABS while printing as easy as PLA. So that's interesting. I've used some nylon. Nylon is very interesting to use as well, mostly white. The temperature is really interesting. I've used a lot of nylon. It's a lot of fun to play with. This is a copolyester. That's interesting. Look at that. Tough, prints odorless. So that might be good for the classroom. We might have to start talking about the copolyester. Oh, look at this carbon. So this is another really interesting thing. We use carbon fiber for some of the stuff that we use in the classroom, but now, and it looks like they're doing some, not trucks, but suspension for some of the cars, RC car, it looks like, and they're using a carbon fiber blend. That's pretty amazing. And it's supposed to be high strength. It's strong, flexible, gives a nice matte finish when printed. So there's some other flexible stuff. So take a look at that. I gave the website for this, all kinds of stuff. TPE, TPU, TPC, FP. There's dissolvable filaments. So PVA, you put it in some water and dissolve it. Water. Yeah, water. It's crazy. Dissolvable in water. And so you want to print something, you have to have a two-head extrusion for that. HIPS does the same stuff. What do you have to put it in? You print support for ABS. There you go. So there's jelly, foamy, like this, we're talking about the exotic stuff. This is the exotic stuff, and then you're talking about color exotics. Tallman has some really good stuff, and I'm just scrolling through here at this point. Please go on here and take a look at it. In the classroom, we use primarily ABS and PLA. There's got a lot of information. Anyway, so we talked about colors, we talked about metals, we talked about colors, flexi stuff, HIPS. I mean, there's all kinds of cool. Look at that. That's amazing. That'd be fun to print out and then let kids mess around with that. I think elementary school kids would have a lot of fun with that too. A lot of the stuff that we use in the classroom too is also, there's all the metals. I got to print out some of that stuff. That looks cool. The wood stuff, and then the glow in the dark stuff. Kids love glow in the dark. Halloween times, this is actually pretty cool stuff. So that's what we're talking about. We're finish up the 3D printing. We talked about sizes and types. We talked about where I can get it from. I use a lot of Octave stuff. I showed you their octave.com. They have a lot of filaments here. I trust their stuff. I've used the thousands and thousands of dollars and rolls of stuff from them, and colors and exotics. So that kind of wraps up filaments for us. If you have any questions, let us know. And you see my email address up there, cvanmeter@syracusd.net. All right. Thanks so much.